Hey there, toy collector friends and Transformers fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Triple TC, that's the time traveling toy collector, and today we are going back in time, and back in time a bit more because we're looking at the Armada universe. Just getting my universes straight in my head. The Armada universe Megatron. But we're not looking at the Armada universe Megatron from Armada. We're looking at, because that would be too straightforward, we're looking at the Armada universe Megatron from the Transformers Legacy Evolution line. So not only are we going back in time to the Transformers Legacy Evolution line, but we're using that as our stepping stone back even further to the wonderful Armada universe. I say wonderful Armada universe. I don't know much about it, but I did get the Optimus Prime, and that was pretty impressive. I also have Tidal Wave, as many of you will know if you're familiar with the channel. So you know those were big hitting figures. So I now am taking a look at this fantastic artwork for Armada Universe Megatron from the Transformers Legacy Evolution line. It is a Takara Tomy Hasbro Transformers Generations figure, and the artwork, of course, is absolutely splendiferous. Always on point, the artwork for Transformers when they put their mind to it. There may have been some time in the wilderness years where it wasn't quite so great, but we're certainly back on track with what we're getting these days. There is the Megatron noggin, the Super Megatron head. There is the tank mode, which is what he comes packed in, and on the back we have some obligatory product shots. So there we have Armada Megatron, there we have him with his super gun mode, and there we have the tank itself, and there we have some evidence of the I was going to say the ridiculous, I meant the very impressive Evo Fusion gimmick. Evo Fusion. See my high-tech special effects? Yeah, you don't get this. You don't get this with Prime versus Prime. Oh no, I love what he does. I'm joking. We send messages. It's okay. I don't mean it. He won't hate me, will he? I hope not. Anyway, that is the box. How exciting! But of course, it's a box, and absolutely not what we're here for. Let's crack on with the main event, which is of course Armada Megatron. And here we have Armada Megatron out of the box. Best place for him. And actually, I'll be honest, it is a sort of H-tank format, which we see quite a lot in certain Decepticon and other vehicles and modes. But it is a very good one. And from what I've seen in my research around Armada, it absolutely does look like the original toy. It doesn't have the Minicon features, because nothing really seems to have the Minicon features in the way the Minicon features used to be. Again, I sort of slept through the Minicon period. I wasn't collecting Transformers at that point. I had moved on with life and never thought I'd be buying another Transformer. It wasn't even on my radar. Highly unlikely. And here we are down the road, and things have changed quite dramatically. So here I am giving you quite the sort of tour around the tank mode. I think it's a really nice mode. You do have uppage and downage in the turret. The turret can rotate, so it does have rotation built into it. It stops here. It can't go any further there. And it stops there on this side. Ooh, I've just inadvertently untabbed a tab. But, you know, he'll just turn around. He does have, handily, to take care of that blind spot, he has a section of weaponry that can elevate here. And it can also, if I remember rightly, rotate there as well, just for, you know, giggles. So he is well stocked and well armed in all directions. Just clap that shut. Into the surface detailing, and actually I have to say the surface detailing on this model is pretty impressive. There's an awful lot going on. So we can see there's a hatch there, there's a grille, there's all this surface detailing along the top here. What I would classify as escape pods from the USS Enterprise D, which is interesting. No, they are obviously some very important covers there. Some lovely, I know we've got this predominantly green and purple color scheme here, but there's some lovely silver used for accents along the way on the grills. The Decepticon logo on the tank there is beautifully pulled out in the traditional purple, but with wonderful silver outlining it. So it's really effective and really nice. Has a lot of ports around the sides for when you want to armor him up. If we look underneath, we do have wheels built into the fake tracks. We have these massive mega horns here, Megatronic horns, which is true to the character. Don't ask me why they exist. I'm sure they're not terribly practical. I wish they kind of could chomp and work as like a cutting mechanism, but that's just me trying to rewrite history. What do you expect? But yeah, I think this is really nice. Have I put those in the wrong way up? I'm now thinking I've turned them around and put them in the wrong way up. Is that a thing that I've done? No, they're the right way around. I just saw what looked like a bit of hollowness, and I thought I'd made a bit of a tactical error. So all in all, I think this tank looks really great. And whether or not it's been used for the Roboson version of Megatron, if you've seen that knocking about, I don't know, but it does look vaguely, obviously colours notwithstanding, it does look vaguely like that version. I'm minded of that version of Megatron. But you know what? I really like this. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And just for the purposes of scale, I just happen to have a totally non-connected figure standing by. Here is Rodimus Prime from the Kingdom line. And you can see how he scales. I'm going to lie him down. With this version of Megatron. I have the other Optimus Prime all transformed up into super mode, so I'm not going to use him for comparisons here. But talking of modes, let's get Megatron transformed into his robot mode, and whilst I'm doing that off camera, so you don't have to hear me screaming and swearing and shouting, it would be absolutely fantastic if you could take a couple of minutes, seconds, to just like the video and also drop a completely free and obligation light subscription to the channel. You don't have to watch all the content. You only have to, you don't have to watch any content, but it just means that you'll get notifications and you'll be aware if when I've uploaded stuff that might be of interest, and you can pick and choose what you elect to watch. It's totally up to you. As I say, it's completely free. It just helps me tackle the might of the evil algorithm, and of course it also helps me reach my own personal goals around subscriber milestones, which would be a huge deal for me with just my little channel here. So if you can do that, that's great. If you can't, don't worry. I'm just glad you're here for the ride, and we'll carry on, and I shall transform Megatron right now. Yes. And here we have Megatron all transformed up into his robot mode, and he is quite an imposing sight. The transformation is straightforward. There's no real issues with it. Mine was a bit stiff because he's not long out of the box, as you can imagine. So I was a bit tentative, but actually very straightforward transformation. Most of it's quite straightforward, nothing too challenging at all. Let me give you a little bit of a tour there. I think it's a lovely, imposing figure. Again, much like Optimus, there's a lot going on in the shoulder department. This gun turret is sort of slung on the back there. Not too much we can do about that, but we can manipulate it in a couple of different ways. But yeah, ultimately he looks the business. I'll start down below and go work my way up. Really nice detailing on the feet. On the legs, it's translated across very well from the tank mode. There's no gapping. Everything is filled in really nicely, apart from in the wrists, which is a shame. It would be nice if there was just something they could have done about that, but they didn't, so never mind. We have the wonderful purple and silver detailing here. Megatron, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more on Megatron's face there, because it is really very nice. I think the eyes beautifully sculpted. There's a little bit of extra detailing around the face there. I think it's done particularly well, and I love this feature here. It's molded in, it's not real, but I didn't have the original toy, so correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, please, but I'm of the view that this on the main toy, on the original main toy, take that back, on the original toy was a slider that pulled up the panel that covered Megatron's face in tank mode. And I think if that is the case, then this is brilliant, because they've kept this as an homage to that. Now we just take the chest plate down and fold it open. But I love what they've done with that particular concept, because it really does work very well indeed. And I just think he's got such an expressively moody face. Those horns, yeah, they're a bit of a nuisance. They haven't fallen off for me yet, but I just know they're going to. But he really is very photogenic. I can't wait to take him out and get some photos with him. You can, if we lift the arms out of the way, you can rotate the turret up and bring this gun around, so he has, yeah, we'll talk about the shoulders in a second, so he has this sort of a defensive position. We can just rotate that around, and he can use his gun like that for a lot of pew pew bang bang, pew pew bang bang. Heaven forbid we've got a Megatron that doesn't actually have a suitable weapon. But talking of suitable weapons or not, these shoulders aren't it. Yeah, they're really not it, which is a terrible shame, because the figure overall is great. Apologies, I just had a spider land on me from somewhere, but I kept remarkably calm, but I'm screaming on the inside. So yeah, I like this. There is also the option to extend the torso and rotate the turret so that it actually comes around to the front and fires this way. It's an interesting gimmick. I think it's ridiculous and looks a little bit disproportionate. So unfortunately, I won't be doing that, just because I think it's a bit sad. I would never display it like that. It might be a thing that he did in the comics, or it might be a toy unique, part of the wonderful Evo Fusion options that they gave us. But I'm quite happy with it slung at the back, or at the very least poking out around the side as a covert weapon. But otherwise, I think I'm leaving him like this. The shoulders are a nuisance. I know you've probably heard other people talk about them. I'm just going to sort of roll up a little bit so we can get to the top end of him there. But yeah, if you're moving the arms, you kind of need to remember to put your fingers there, because they just don't have any way to stay in place. I did think that with the little swoosh down as part of transformation, that would act as enough of a friction lock to hold them in place, but it doesn't. So whereas he has articulation around there, it's hampered. Obviously it's hampered by these shoulder pylons, but by the same token, everything is hampered by the fact they just don't tab in, which is a huge shame for what is otherwise a really lovely, well-decoed figure. I know that he was redecoed as Galvatron. Again, I have zero interest in repurchasing the figure and double dipping just for the sake of a color change. And also, it's not one I'm familiar with. I know Galvatron, obviously, but Armada's not one that I'm familiar with. I should probably do my homework, sit down and watch it from the off. But yeah, that's my bad. I haven't done that. I will get round to it. If, folks, you think it's worth watching, is it a good one? Let me know in the comments down below. So, do you have Armada Megatron in your collection? Do you have the original? How does this one compare to the original? Because I don't know, you tell me. And if you don't have the original, or you don't have it anymore, did you pick this up by way of reliving the glory days? And what do you think of this iteration of Megatron? I've got a few other Megatrons that I haven't looked at yet, and I'm going to be doing that for the coming up time frame, because I think they are some really nice designs, and I don't give Megatron enough screen time, quite frankly. So I'm going to be on a bit of a Megatron, I don't know what to call it, jamboree. That's not the word I wanted, but it'll do for now. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this figure and Armada in general. Is it something I should be watching? If you haven't subscribed and you fancy it, please do so. It doesn't cost you a penny, and it's fantastically helpful for me and really boosts my, let's be honest, my ego. It's that simple. If not, do not worry. I'm just glad to have you popping in on purely casual basis, as and when you fancy a bit of time traveling toy collection. I am the time traveling toy collector. You've been a wonderful audience, and this has been Transformers Armada Universe Megatron from the Takara Tomy and Hasbro Transformers Legacy Evolution line. I very much look forward to seeing you in a future, or indeed a past video, and it just remains for me to say that a thing of beauty really is a toy forever. Take care, bye bye for now.